Back in 2011, myself and a number of other head coaches working in places like this, my old high school, Hatcham College, where I was head coach for 4 or 5 years working with the Greenhouse charity, we wanted to find something that helped young people really change their long-term futures while also gaining new, diverse workforce for the charity itself. When we put apprenticeships through the middle of it, Coach Corps was born. What you're about to see is the origins of Coach Corps, how it started, why it started, and the key players that have made it the organisation that it is today.
So, my name is Jason Sugru. My current role is Director of Coaching for Greenhouse Sports, and my role back then was a Coach Development Officer. We were really trying to think about the future, and we realised that the young people that we had within our programs, we just started to talk about the more holistic approach to coaching, the more holistic journey, and we worked out that in order for us to really develop our organisation, we wanted to work with some people and some of our youngsters and give them opportunities to go on and maybe help us mould the future for what we were doing.
Name Daniel Fenner, role now is working for the FA as a Coach Development Officer, and role 10 years ago was working for Greenhouse as a Coach Development Officer. There was a need that we had a group of young men, young women that were coming to the end of their school life and Greenhouse life as the 16-year-olds that had that opportunity to either go to college or maybe go into employment, and to keep them, I wouldn't say on the books, but to keep them on the coaching journey pathway. It was a great way to get some young people to become coaches, but then also, I suppose Greenhouse might have looked at it as well to save a bit of money, because instead of going external, why don't you get the values of the people that you've been coaching for the last 5 to 10 years internally to go and coach your values within schools?
One of the coaches that works at Greenhouse now is Micah. It's just learning more about Micah, watching him coach, traveling around, learning more about his life, learning a little bit more about the troubles that he had, the difficulties he had, and working with him on a basis where we got to understand each other and know each other a little bit better.
My name is Micah Salmon. I'm the head coach of Harris City Academy, Crystal Palace. Coach Corps 1, 2012. Year 12, I was playing table tennis. I was playing table tennis as a sixth former in Capital City Academy. At that time, I was probably just studying business and sport. Probably didn't know what I wanted to do career-wise, but I knew I was interested in those two fields. So that sort of brought me towards Coach Corps.
I'm Tracy Jenkins. I was in the Coach Corps Program 1 in 2012. Right now, I'm a full-time mum and looking to get back into coaching in the future. And this is where I used to play football with my dog, probably running around somewhere in there as well, scaring away the boys. This is where I learned the love of sports, and where I actually, when I got injured, that I realised I wanted to be a coach in some future. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, but that was one of my goals. My coach at the time, Robin Ashley, I was always after school, lunchtime, going in and helping him coach the younger kids whilst playing. And then he came up to me and was like, hey, we've got a good program coming up, do you want to do it? So I didn't have any hopes, dreams, whatever, ambition to do anything. So someone giving me an opportunity to go further in life, I was like, why not take it?
I'd like to think we were honest from the outset. Again, Micah and Murray and all that can be answered better than we can, but I'd like to think we stood up and said, this is new. We're going to try something that hasn't been done in this way before, and we're going to really, listen to you guys and make it about you as much as what we want to achieve out of it. So hopefully that's what came across.
I know coming in there I was a little bit overwhelmed, thinking am I out of place, if that makes sense. It was a bit overwhelming. I was a bit out of my comfort zone, not being in a table tennis hall, but I think we was all in the same position, trying to grow in those areas, trying to coach and sort of master our background within coaching, I'd say.
It's the fear of not knowing. I was confident with the sport skills and the sports side of things, like a lot of young people, but I wasn't aware of sort of what the extras, what else did it sort of encompass. Murray Wilson, Coach Corps Program 1, 2012, currently a physical education teacher.
A lot of worried people in a room, not sure what they were doing. I think that includes some of the mentors and coaches, if we're being honest.
Just a sense of anticipation and excitement in the room was probably mine. my memory. Obviously some nervous faces as well. And that transition of having many of our participants about to probably look at us in a completely different light as well was quite daunting from my own perspective. Every day was a bit different, every day was exciting. The camaraderie amongst the group was always quite good.
I think being at that age, stepping into schools, again, we're still students, so, and then we're getting put into an environment where we're teaching students, so it was a scary stage, but I think we was given the confidence and the tools to have the confidence to go step in there and go do the role.
Personally, and something I've taken with me throughout life, and Greenhouse was one of the first stages of that, was just challenging myself outside my comfort zone. And although it might not have been explicit, I think we were always encouraged to do so. Okay, and think, okay, what's next? Okay, and what's next? And how am I going to get better? And it wasn't always sports-wise. You know, although it wasn't obvious, it wasn't made clear, explicit, the coaches were mentors. They weren't just sports coaches.
Okay, so the end of coach corps gave me belief that I could go further. It gave me the skills and knowledge to believe I could do it. And it made me happy, like knowing that I've learnt so much and then being able to travel the world and go coach there.
For me, the success story was after the first couple, I think 6 of them went over to the States, America, to do some coaching in the summer. And it weren't just the football guys that went over there. There was one lady from table tennis and another gentleman, Jordan, from basketball. And they went to America and done summer of coaching. So for me, that was a huge success.
I fell on top of the world, I can't lie to you. My family got to see me. It was a real special moment, probably one of the highlights of my life, actually when I graduated from Coach Corps. And I was ready for life. I want to keep building, I want to keep inspiring the kids, I want to keep motivating the younger generation. For me, it's a case of how can I keep doing it on a bigger and larger scale.
Still seeing a lot of benefits now, actually, a lot of successes now from those cohorts. Some of them have gone on to do greater things, but I suppose for me the best part was always watching the energy, and it was different. It was a different energy they actually had to some of our existing, more established coaches, and watching them in sessions and engage with kids. And it was yeah. I just think back to one in particular, Nico actually, who was a fairly decent table tennis player, and British wheelchair champion, junior champion, and just watching him in the hall coaching kids, and him be able to empathise and breaking down that barrier of somebody who's not an able-bodied athlete working with young kids, and that transition was probably the most magic. I remember one day sitting watching him and just thinking, yeah, I think I can hang up my coaching shoes and just watch these guys go and do it, because it was good fun.